And then sometimes we've got people just near the edge of the curb. Again, treat them like what we said before, your cyclists, etc. You know, a couple of metres of clearance, you know, the little child could fall off the curb. These people standing a bit close to the edge. So again, when you pass them, give them enough space. People in towns, they stand very close to the edge. Watch you don't hit them with your mirrors on the left. So pass them, think about giving them 2 metres of clearance. And again, imagine they could, like the cyclists, they could faint, and they could be in the road before you know it. So give them enough clearance. Adequate clearance for vehicles which are parked on pavement. So really important. Sometimes we can drive them down the road, we'll show you a picture of our lorry, and we see a vehicle is very, very close to the edge of the curb. So look ahead. You know, with your method, you're going to need to be checking your mirrors before you pass the vehicle, so check your mirrors before you move out. And anything you're going to pass, you're going to check your mirrors before you pass them. As you're passing them, you need to check. That's called a follow-through check. And very important, you pass anything close, check both mirrors. Check whichever side the hazard is on first of all. That's called a follow-through check. You must check it. So if you pass a lorry on the other side of the road, you'll check your offside mirror, but you can check your near side as well. Follow-through checks, okay. So you check the mirrors as you pass them, and then when you move in on the other side. We do have a little pointer, so when you pass them there, and before you move back in, you'll check your mirrors again. So, we're spotting the situation early, which is really, really important. Looking and planning ahead, and then you can deal with whatever's coming up behind you. If it's safe, maybe check your mirrors, pop your right signal on, and try to move out as early as you can. Now, we've moved the lorry from there to there. It's acceptable to straddle lanes. You need to control your left lane. Remember, the highway code says what lane should you drive in? Left lane. So it's okay to acceptable to straddle lanes. All you're doing is planning to leave a metre of clearance from the parked car. Enough room for that door to open. And that's good planning. So straddle lanes is acceptable. If you can't move out without affecting other vehicles, then you might need to stop. So if you can't get out because there's vehicles are gaining on you, then you might get to this point here, and at that point you can't get out, so you might have to, only option is stop. Don't force people to swerve or slow down. If you plan early, that's really where we should have tried to mirrors, spot what's coming up behind, maybe pop a right signal on, ask this driver to hold back, and that gives you time and space to move out. But if you're not planning, you'll end up in this situation, what we call a pinch point. So that means we've seen it late, we've reacted late, and sometimes we can't help a situation developing really late, and maybe because there was a vehicle in front of us and we didn't see it till a bit later, okay. But if you stop in that situation, that means it's probably poor planning on your behalf. So looking as far as your eyes can see will help avoid getting to a pinch point. And there you go, leaving a metre clearance for the parked vehicle. So it's really important you look for parked vehicles, etc. Okay. Now, sometimes we have a little task and we tell you to list some situations that might make you change position. So get yourself some paper. There are 8 answers. Write as many answers that you can think of which will make you change position on the road as a driver. I'm going to pause the video, and then once you've got them, we'll click, or you can click on play. We're just going to give you so many seconds and we'll start the game. So, there we go. Now, so let's have some situations. So, as we're driving along the road, what things will make you change position? You know, you've got a pedestrian a bit close, and a big puddle, there's a big clue. You shouldn't be splashing pedestrians if you get caught doing it deliberately. There are big, really big fines and many, many points on your licenses. So, some of the answers, we might have a pothole that might make us think, oh, we need to change lanes. Spot it early, move out early if we can. Signposts, sometimes they put roadworks signs, temporary roadworks really close. You could easily clip them with your mirror, so spot them early and maybe move out for them. We've got temporary roadwork signage, vehicles that are just parked up on the left and they've gone on the curb and they're close to the edge, like in the previous picture on the slide we showed. Bins on a windy day, so bins are near the edge of the road, could blow into the road, so be aware, spot them, maybe think about moving out if you need to. Some can grit, again, similar to a pothole, isn't it? But you need to be looking for these things as a driver. You've got side roads where vehicles come over the giveaway line, so as you're driving side road, cars coming up, you know, you might have to take mirrors, but again, we mustn't panic and go mirrors and just move out without checking, because we could hit somebody else in the other lane. And again, bigger vehicles, trees are a problem. They overhang the road, we can smash the mirrors off. If you smash your mirror off, that's the end of your driving test. You can't drive with a broken mirror. Okay, so be aware of trees, and you might have to move out, especially on country lanes. You might have to alter your driving position. So again, we've come back to some pictures and then some busy towns. We've got people stood, and you see them right close to the edge of the curve, and you've got them there, really close to the edge. So if you drive past them, even staying in your lane, means you're going to be really close, especially if you're driving a big lorry or a bus or something. So that might mean you might have to check your mirrors and move out over the centre line a little bit, just to allow that metre of clearance. Minimum of metre. Couple of metres is better when it's pedestrians, or metre and a half if you're going slower. Okay, so the pedestrians are at risk of being hit by mirrors. So check the mirrors before you pass the pedestrians, check them as you're passing them, check them afterwards before you move back in to the left. Okay, so you can see the pedestrians all stood really close to the edge of the curve. So be aware, check your mirrors early, and if you can't move out, check your mirrors and just go a little bit slower. But if you slow down too much, they might think you are stopping. They might think them lights have changed to red, so don't over slow down as well. Slow enough that you can deal with the situation and the danger.